All right, welcome everybody. I am Esmo88, joined by Rupert83, here to commentate this Super Mario Brothers All-Stars All 4 Any Percent tournament between Mars02 and Revelyte23. How's it going, Rupert?
Oh, pretty good. Just watching a little snow and watching a few video games here.
Colorado snow.
Yep. I anticipate, but both players actually have really good PBs for the category, so I'm anticipating a pretty good matchup here.
Yeah, me too. I was just kind of looking over the leaderboard right before we started up here, and it looked like I guess both runners have a PB 7 seconds apart, both with the sub 35, and both achieved it within the past month. So definitely two runners who are on top of their game here, with each with a top 10 time, a top 8 time, really. So yeah, it should be pretty good. I'm expecting probably like a mid 35 from both of them, but it should be pretty close.
So we are in the process of getting synced up and almost ready to start the match here.
Yeah, we should be starting that countdown any minute now. Yeah, definitely looking forward to this race. I don't know if I mentioned it before. This is round 2 of the winners bracket, and the winner will go on to face the 1 seed versus 9 seed match of YMGC versus Royale Gamer. So whoever wins this has, definitely a good match ahead of them. A very exciting match ahead of them with two big names in Mario speedrunning to face.
I think we're almost ready to get started here. So here in just a moment, they should be on their way.
Yeah, both players, and we didn't mention this yet, but they will be running Mario 1, Mario Lost Levels, Mario 2 USA, and then finishing out with Mario 3. So running in the order of original release, which is always something I like to see. You kind of see the evolution of Mario games, early Mario games.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, and it'll also be interesting to see along the line of what strategies they take in some of the games. Especially with SMB2 and SMB3 of what happens with those. Like, there's some tricks that looks like we're getting started.
Yep.
So good luck to both players. And looks like they're both going to pick up Mushroom in 1-1, and then probably pick up Fire in 1-2. They're going to run Fire Strats for SMB1, which is a very safe and smart decision to make in a race setting for this particular game.
Right, definitely. I mean, even RTA attempts of All-Stars, you'd probably still see Fire Strats from most players, but if some of you are coming from like the Mario 1 community, which mostly runs the NES version, you may not be used to seeing Fire Strats, so it'll be pretty fun to watch this if you've never seen it before.
Yeah, this Fire Strats are more common on this version because of the hitboxes have better accuracy than they do on the NES version. So some of the tricks, like jumping over some of the piranha plants that you commonly see in the NES version, doesn't work here. So you can technically still make those pipe jumps on this version, but since the hitboxes are more accurate, they are very much more difficult to do that. So looks like they both got through 1-2 pretty clean. So we'll go on to 4-1. Not a whole lot going on this level. Rev looks like he bonked against the block there a little bit. That's a little tricky sometimes at the beginning of the level.
Yeah, seeing a couple little bonks from Rev out early in 1-2 and 4-1, but the rest of 4-1 should be pretty easy for both of them. It's just about as easy as it is, especially with Fire, just about as easy as it is in the NES version. So still, Rev only lost one in-game second from the bonk, so nothing too detrimental. Still, 30-plus minutes left to go, so anything could happen.
So moving on to 4-2 here, I anticipate we'll probably see the wrong work trick from both of them. Hopefully, they pretty much have to execute this if they go for it. Otherwise, they will have to start the world over. So they can't really make a critical mistake here and go too far or keep the screen scrolling. Marta's got it. Looks like Rev should have it. Yeah, he's got it too.
I was afraid that he maybe went just a little bit too far there, but I think he slid far enough in the sliding part to get forward far enough.
Yeah, he was a little far over, but he didn't have a lot of room to spare, but he still got it, which is the most important part of it.
That's what you like to see. Definitely resetting at that, or having to start over World 4 because of a failed wrong warp would not be good for either runner. But so we're glad to see them both make it through.
So 8-1 for both players here. They're going to shoot a bunch of the enemies out of the way. Rev looks like he decided to hold up there a little bit on the 3 pipes there. So he's going to lose a little bit of ground here, probably a couple of seconds. So Mars has got a slight lead here by just a few seconds, which isn't at this stage of the match isn't really that much. So Rev's about 3 or 4 seconds behind right now.
Yeah, certainly nothing insurmountable yet. One thing you were talking about shooting enemies in 8-1, I didn't know. I know if in the NES version, if you shoot too many enemies in the wrong spot, you'll get a lot of lag. Is that the case in the All-Stars version as well, or?
Not really. You don't really have lag issues like that with this version, just because the Super Nintendo is a more powerful console than the NES. You don't see a lot of lag issues on this version, so that's something that you're not really gonna hurt yourself by shooting too many of the enemies due to lag.
Good to know. Mars making his way into 8-3 with fire, and Revelyte as well, making it to 8-3 with fire. That's definitely, if you're going for fire strats, it's definitely a place you want to have fire. It makes these bros pretty easy to deal with. Otherwise, they can be a little bit hectic.
Yeah, sometimes they can jump at just the right time. That makes it a little tricky, but over having to do it small, it is definitely much easier to do it that way.
Much rather do it with fire. Both players getting a 242 there, and that is optimal for 8-3. And we see Mars into the first room of 8-4 first.
Shoot that piranha plant out of the way that normally despawns on the other version. And let's see if Mars goes for a wall jump. He does not attempt that. Rev, I don't know if he'll go for that. I guess we're about to find out here. And no, he's not going for it either.
Yeah, the setup is definitely a little bit more difficult on All-Stars from what I understand for that wall jump. So both players are likely to take it safe.
So Mars almost through the water section here. He's going to finish up this part here. He should be good to go. He's got fire. He can take a hit if he needs to. And he gets a nice forward Bowser, so onto lost levels for Mars. Rev takes a hit at the end of the water section, so he might have to wait on Bowser here. And Bowser does go backwards, so he's going to have to wait a second or two. And he makes it through just fine, so he's going to move on to the lost levels as well. I think both players use Mario. Obviously, Mars is using Mario. Oh, he's using Luigi. Okay,
whoa.
I was wrong on that. So we get to see both characters here, and their physics differ on this version. So that's why that's kind of a point to bring up.
Yeah, it's not just a difference of red versus green here. It's Luigi actually jumps a lot higher, and if you ever have to stop with him, he's not that easy to stop, and not that easy to get accelerated either. So it takes a little bit longer to get speed with Luigi, but you can make some longer jumps that might be a little bit more tight with Mario, which will help you at the levels.
Yeah, and this is more of a sort of a personal opinion of mine, but in a racer tournament setting, if you're comfortable with Luigi, I kind of find making it through these levels a little bit easier in general. Because with Mario, you have to make some pretty tight jumps if you're going, as fast as you possibly can, and Luigi makes some of that a little easier.
And Luigi also just able to jump over into the warp zone area right there, whereas Mars with Mario had to wait for one of those platforms to come up for him.
Rev electing not to pick up the power up here as Mars decided to do that. So I would assume that Mars is probably going to pick up fire at some point.
It'll be interesting to see if Rev picks up Mushroom in 4-1.
And he may not. Using fire stress with Luigi is actually kind of difficult. Maybe he is going for it.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
So he picks up the mushroom. So we will see how that goes. Mars through the end of 4-1, and Rev's about half a stage behind right now, and he is going to indeed pick up the fire. So we will see how he executes through the rest of this with fire. I personally find Luigi with fire pretty difficult. So pretty much I have to give props to anyone who can efficiently do fire stress with Luigi.
Yeah, I know when I was learning Warpless for Lost Levels, I was learning it with Luigi on this version, and I just elected to stay small the whole time. And Mars not electing to stay small there, but he's going to have to stay small anyway going into 4-3 here, taking a little bit of damage.
It looked like he may have missed the shot on the Piranha Plant there, and he ended up landing on the Piranha Plant. So that's unfortunate for Mars. So if he'll lose a little bit of time here if he elects to stop and pick up a few more power-ups.
Yeah, we'll see what he does here. Meanwhile, Rev getting 3 fireworks there. Fireworks work a little bit different in this game as opposed to Mario 1. So Mario 1, you get fireworks. You get gosh, it's been so long since I played it.
1, 3, and 6.
1, 3, and 6.
If the last digit of your timer, unfortunately, Rev gets a bullet bill and jumps into him, but it looks like he's going to make it through the rest of 4-3 okay. So for SMB 1, you get fireworks if the last digit of your timer when you hit the flagpole is a 1, 3, or 6. You get respectively that many fireworks. In this Lost Levels, to get fireworks, if the last digit of your timer matches the last digit of your coin count, you get fireworks for that. So if it's an even number, you get 6, and if it's an odd number, you get 3.
I see Mars with that really swaggy fire pickup there with the clips through the block.
That was very nice.
Yeah, that's nice to see. I didn't know if he'd go for that in a tournament race like this, but very cool to see.
So Rev did not stop for a power-up and got through the castle a little bit quicker, so he looks like he probably saved a bit of time here to catch up a little bit with Mars. So we're going on to World 5, and we will see if the players go for and get the super jump at the end of the level. So there's a trick that you can do with bouncing off the Koopas at the end of the level, of where you can clear the huge wall at the end without having to hit the hidden coin blocks at the end of it. So we'll see how they handle that and if they manage to get it.
At this point, if I'm Mars and I have both power-ups here, I don't know if I elect to keep them or go for the super jump. And it looks like he's going to get it.
Problem.
Never mind.
No problem for Mars. And Rev having a pesky bullet bill here. It looks like he's trying to decide if he wants to get ahead of it. Now he's getting ahead of it. So we'll see if he goes for the super jump. He missed the Koopa, so he's going to have to hit the coin blocks here and finish up the level.
It looks like he pulled back just a little too much to hit that super jump. Maybe electing to play it safe at the last minute to not take a hit on accident.
And that very, very well could be a possibility, because if you take a hit there, you're obviously going to die. And 5-1's actually a fairly long level, so that's a pretty considerable time loss if you actually do die to that. So Rev's going to pick up the mushroom here at the beginning at 5-2. And he came out of his duck just a little too early and got hit, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I thought he was going to... It looked like he was going to pick up a mushroom and then pick up fire. It's pretty quick to actually... especially in a race setting, to pick up mushroom and fire in this level.
And Rev having a little bit of an issue here trying to hit the vine block there, which is admittedly pretty tricky. It's pretty tricky and it's pretty scary there, because if you mess that up, you can end up in the pit pretty easily.
Yeah, it's a really tricky spot for them to put that vine block there.
Yeah. Mars with some nice clean moves through the Hammer Bros there halfway through the level. So nice job from him on that.
Yeah, that was a very good 8-1 from Mars. It looks like we are going to see a mushroom pickup again from Rev. Just not electing to go small the whole way.
He might try. No, he didn't try the clip. There's a clip you can actually go through the pipe there. And it looked like he may have been setting up for that initially, but I don't know for sure. He may have decided not to. And Rev does take a hit there. But looks like he's going to make it through okay through the rest of the level. Mars looks like he didn't have any issues with 8-2. He's made it through that. So they're pretty much about a level apart right now, roughly.
Yeah, and 8-2 is a pretty short level, so not terribly far apart. So we'll see 8-3 here from Mars. Just gonna be able to shoot everything out of the way. Usually these bros in this level are pretty easy to deal with. You can kind of know how they're gonna jump for the most part, but those last two bros can sometimes be tricky. So having fire definitely helping Mars there.
Yep. Mars finished up a nice 8-3. Rev's going to start at 8-3. I guess the next thing to watch for is Mars. Let's see if he goes for the quick start at the beginning of the level where he jumps over the lava pit. We'll see if he gets that. Yeah, he got that, no problem.
Yeah, good room 1 from Mars there in 8-4. That's I mean, every room in this castle is pretty tricky, but especially if you're on like PB pace or something.
Yeah.
Room 1 of 8-4 is just nerve-wracking going in.
And nice room, little turnaround room there for Mars.
And now we get the long hallway of doom.
Okay, Rev also got the fast start to 8-4. Works a little differently with Luigi because of his physics, but he got that no problem. And Mars coming into the final room of 8-4, makes it past Bruce. And we'll see how Bowser treats him here at the end. We'll see if he goes forward, and he does. So nice Bowser for Mars. He's moving on to SMB2.
2 of 4 games completed for Mars so far, so he's on a pretty good pace. Seems like very few mistakes from Mars so far.
He's had a clean run so far. Yeah. So Mars, since he elected to pick Toad on the first level, I anticipate that he's not going for the vine clip here at the beginning of the level. If you pick up Mario, there's a couple of clips you can do in this level. They get you through there quicker, but it looks like Mars decided not to take that risk.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes for the ladder clip in this room right here. That'll be interesting to see if he does that. I believe that works on All Stars as well, right? Well, it looks like he's not going for it anyway.
It works. Well, it doesn't work exactly the same. You can still do it, but it doesn't work exactly the same.
Okay.
So Mars just does I guess, for lack of better terminology, a standard 1-1. So Rev looks like he may be gearing up to try the vine clip. So he could, if he gets this, he'll make up a considerable amount of time here. So let's see if he gets it, and he just missed it.
He was so close to getting it on that second bounce.
Yeah, so close.
And it's something worth noting that potion clip that he tried for is, I believe, is only possible on this All Stars version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Mars did the fast carpet glitch, in where he gets rid of the first enemy on the carpet and kind of scrolls off the screen and respawns it and jumps on the second carpet. So that's one fast strat to get through this. There's a few fast strats. Some people will go use Luigi and pick up the key and use the key to defeat Birdo. We'll see what Rev elects to do here. Technically, if you do it, I believe optimally the key method's a little bit faster, but it's also a little more tricky.
Yeah, it's definitely trickier, but the Birdo kill is a lot quicker.
So, okay, so he's doing Luigi, so he may be doing the key route here. And he may not. I would just have to see what he elects to do here. So Mars is warped to World 4, but he's going to save and quit and then start on World 3. Because you can actually save and quit on this version. And so they're taking the faster and I guess also easier any percent route through this. So he's going to World 3 and now he's going to warp to World 5 and then warp to World 7. So Rev's doing the key strat here and looks like he did a pretty good job on the key kill there.
Yeah, pretty nice. All right, so we're going to see another warp as Rupert was talking about here from Mars.
So now we're getting into the section of the game where you're going to see Luigi for the next 4 levels, essentially.
And Revelyte right behind him, taking another warp to World 3. I'm sorry, World 4, but he'll start over in World 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mars using Luigi. I think Luigi is like just... he's used for a lot of levels, and it's good to see that, I don't know, that he gets used in the All-Star speedrun just about as much, it seems like. I don't know, it's kind of fun to play with him. It's very awkward to play with Luigi at first, but did you see Mars making use of the iframes there with Luigi?
Yes, yeah. So if you pick up an object, you have a window of opportunity that objects will pass through, like fireballs, in which you're invincible. So you'll see a lot of speedrunners use that to their advantage to be able to kill the enemies a little faster. So Rev has made his way to World 5. Let's see how he gets through 5-1 here. 5-1's not too bad. There's like one jump, this one right here, that's a little tricky. If you jump too early, you may not make it across the pit there. But the rest of it, 5-1's not too scary. So on the other side, you see Mars doing some vine jumps here. There's a window in which if you let go of a vine or a ladder or a chain, there's a window of a specific number of frames that you can actually jump in midair, and that allows you to climb up those a lot faster.
Yeah, as I understand it, with Luigi, it's actually the easiest because I believe it's an 8-frame window on both versions, and then with every other character, it's a 3-frame window.
Yeah, it's either a 7 or 8-frame window with everybody else.
All right, Mars fighting. He's easily I would say the most difficult Birdo of this run.
Yeah, that one's pretty tricky because of several elements. You've got the bridge that's got a hole in it, and then you've got the fish that's jumping up out of the water, and then since it's a red Birdo, it varies between shooting eggs and shooting fireballs, so you don't exactly know what bird is going to shoot at you. So you have to take all that into consideration.
Right. Plus,
but Mars did a good job with it.
Plus, if you're playing optimally, you're playing with Luigi, which is not the easiest to... I wouldn't say combat with Luigi is the easiest in this game.
No, it's not. It's kind of tricky to pick up the eggs to throw back at Birdo. So Rev is gearing up for the Birdo fight here, and he's got threw the fish into him. Looks like Mars got through the first room of 7-1 pretty well. Looks like Rev should be done with Birdo here. You can jump on the Sniffet here, and you can also do this with Peach as well, where you can just skip that whole lower section where you've got all the Sniffets running around, and just skip that whole section.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun sequence break in 7-1, so to speak. Otherwise, you got to kind of double back a few times with any other character, and it's pretty annoying to play this level otherwise.
So Mars now has fighting a green Birdo that only shoots fireball. So you're pretty much forced to use the mushroom block there to kill Birdo. So Mars going on to 7-2, which is the last stage of this game. Then it'll be moving on to SMB3. So we'll see how the wart fight goes for him. Rev took an early hit. It looked like to the Albatos there.
Just managed to catch the beak of the Albatos there. So we'll see what happens in these next couple of screens with him.
And you're going to see Mars do another vine jump, or well, I guess chain jump here, and that allows. Oh, he climbed up just a little too far, so he's going to go back down and try it again. And he'll get there. It is okay. So you get to skip a huge portion of this final level by doing that. And when you get to the Birdo with the key here, the key's already outside of Birdo, so you just got to pick it. You just have to pick it up and go.
I'm so glad that in releasing the All-Stars version of this game that they didn't fix that glitch.
Yeah.
Because playing 7-2 as intended is it's a very long journey, as I understand. I've never actually done it, so I wouldn't know.
Rev coming into 7-2. So let's see how the Wart fight goes here for Mars. He's got to throw 6 vegetables into Wart to kill him. The vegetables, the order that they come out of this machine in the background is always the same. Like they always come out in the same pattern. So the players know where to stand to try to pick those up. So it looks like Rev had a little easier time getting the chain jump than Mars did.
Yeah, so depending on how both of their Wart fights go, which Mars has just delivered the final vegetable to Wart, Rev could make up a little bit of time.
Yeah, if his fight goes well. So
if his fight goes well, he is going in as small toad, so no hits
Yeah.
to give, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that makes it a little scary, just because of the bubbles that he shoots out is those kind of vary a little bit on where they're going to end up. So he's got to be careful here. But Mars on to SMB3, which is the final game of this round or this match.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Rev's got 3 hits into Wart so far. I don't think he's missed any yet, from what I've noticed. There, that should be 4. So at this point, he's going to wait here, which was probably a wise decision. He kind of got a bad pattern with the bubbles there.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty tough veggie to hit with.
Oh, and he didn't. He missed the throw on that one. And that should be the last one, and it is. And so pretty good fight from Rev on Wart. So he's trying to do the cutscene skip here, and I think he might have got it. It's
might have saved a few frames there.
Yeah. So on the Japanese version, which is what they're both playing, I think they're both playing that version. So right before the cutscene or the fanfare, after you kill a boss, you can spam the start button, and if you hit it on the right frame, you can actually skip the whole cutscene or fanfare playing before you can go on the door. So you can save a few seconds there if you do it fairly optimally. So Boris has picked up his first warp whistle. He's going to go pick up his second one in the fortress here. Rev is on 1-2, not too far behind. The thing that can be interesting about this game is the number of hands that they get in World 8, and that has the potential of really tightening this race up, or it could make the lead, even more dramatic, depending on how many hands that they get. So that'll be the interesting thing to see here in just a few minutes.
Yeah, and I'd say this race is definitely close enough to where that could have an impact. I was watching a little bit of Rev before the race started, and it looked like he was practicing SMB3, so we'll see if the practice pays off, and maybe he can make up some time just on execution alone, which would be pretty interesting to see as well. Mars having a pretty good World 1, it seemed like. Maybe a couple little strats that didn't go the way he wanted to, but he's, regardless, on his way to World 8.
Yeah, overall pretty solid. So Mars is going to play around in auto-scroller land here for a little bit. Let's see how Rev does on the fortress here. Doesn't get the early P-speed. He may have not wanted to get that.
It almost looked like he was going for it and then stopped himself when he realized he wasn't going to get it, but a good quick tail pick up there from him.
But pretty solid fortress for Rev, so he will be moving on to World 8 now.
Yeah, and it's hard to determine, but I would say just based on watching both of them just now, it looked like Rev did pick up a little bit of time on Mars based on their execution in World 1.
And we do have a question in the chat saying, any chance that we could see a Warpless All-Stars tournament sometime in the future? So I'm the one who organized this tournament, and I considered it. But pretty much the reason I didn't go with that, there's several factors of why I didn't go with that. And one of them is we don't have a ton of people with relatively close times on the leaderboard for a Warpless category. So I feel like it would be a lot of blowouts, honestly. And for a run that takes over 2 hours. So I didn't feel like that would necessarily be the best fit, and I feel like we'd have a lot of or have some trouble getting enough players for a tournament like that.
Yeah, it's something I definitely would have liked to have experienced and watched as well, but I agree it doesn't seem like there's quite enough people with competitive times with each other to justify a tournament just yet, but that might change in the future.
Oh, I mean, I'd be all for that. You know, if I thought it was a good idea sometime in the future, because I'm a person warpless and 100%. So, you know, I mean, you know, for, without a doubt that I'd be there for that.
Yeah, I definitely know that.
So yeah, any percent's a lot easier to get people to sign up for. You know, it's shorter, and it's not. You don't have to learn nearly as much to learn the any percent categories, which actually the majority of the people we have in this tournament are already pretty established players of this category anyway. So you get to see a pretty good pool of talent during these matches. So since Mars is part of the way through the Navy level here, if you all want to go ahead and start making guesses on how many hands you think each player is going to get, we'll see.
We've got one guess already. One guess already in that says 1 for Mars and 2 for Rev. So we'll see if that holds up.
Let's see if Rev goes for the fire here. Looks like he's going to try to get it. This is actually pretty tricky to get. He didn't get the duck jump, unfortunately.
Yeah, you've only got one try to get the fire there, and if you miss it, it's just goodbye.
And it's pretty difficult. Like, you don't really have much room for error at all to pick up that power up. So it's you know, you'll probably see a lot of that where that's missed. Like I'll probably only get it 50% of the time. It's a pretty tough trick. So let's see what Mars gets here. Mars gets 0 hands.
Wow. That's pretty lucky. That's about as lucky as it gets. It's a 12.5% chance to get 0 or 3 hands. So Mars with 0 hands there. He's having a pretty darn good run, and that's gonna make it an even better run for him, I'd say.
Yeah, and that's I guess Mars won the lottery today.
He did, yeah. Buy a lottery ticket, Mars.
Yeah. So we'll see what Rev gets here. And I mean, I have seen a match before where both players got no hands. So that is definitely possible. I think it's only like a 1 in 64 chance, but I have seen it happen. So we can't totally count that out.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm going to guess Mars is going to try to pick up fire in the fort here. I admittedly haven't watched a lot of his attempts, so I don't know if he's comfortable with fire kill on Bowser or if he's just going to be taking it safe. But that is something that I know Rev was practicing fire kill at the beginning of the stream when we were warming up, so as we see him get the middle hand.
Yeah, he gets the middle hand. The middle hand is the shortest one out of all 3 of those. So that one's not a huge time loss there. And as far as the question goes with, let's see how Mars does with 8-1 here. So it looks like Mars is maybe going to try to play it relatively safe. Always going to pick up fire here. Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting strat.
I know iframes in the All-Stars version of Mario 3 work a little bit different, whereas on the NES version, you've got a lot of iframes going from any kind of power-up to Big Mario. It looked like he was trying to set up a P-Speed strat there. And then in...
Rev looked like he took a hit, but he was also right there where the fire flower was. So unfortunately, Rev got a second hand here. Mars had a few issues going through 8-1, but he did make it through the fire, which is fairly important here. There is one more chance to pick up power-ups in the fortress, but after that, that's all the power-ups that he could pick up.
Yeah, there is. You could pick up a tail in Bowser's Castle, but with the level that both these players play at, I'm assuming that they wouldn't be going for that. No real reason to. It's not beneficial at all.
Yeah. So pretty honest A2 for Mars.
Yeah, no bad RNG from the sun that time, which is definitely what you like to see. Sometimes that sun can just get right in your way and take your power up.
Yeah. And I think someone was asking a question as far as the hands, as far as making it even, and I had considered that, but probably like if I run another one of these tournaments, and it'll be something I'll probably reach out to the players and see what they think about it before I would make a change like that. But basically, if I did another one and they wanted it to be even as far as the hands went, then I would just make them play all 3 of the hands regardless. So, I mean, they're still, depending on how many actually grab you, there's still going to be a few seconds of variance there, but it wouldn't be nearly as drastic. But that's probably something I'd want to ask the players for a possible future tournament if they would want me to run it that way, as opposed to just leaving it completely up to the RNG for that. So Rev's having a pretty good 8-1 here.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice looking 8-1. It appears, unless something really catastrophic goes wrong on Mars' side, that he is poised to win this for sure, but definitely don't count out Rev and how he's playing World 8. He's definitely showing off that he knows some really good strats for 8-1 and 8-2, which are notoriously tough levels. And keeping P-speed through 8-2 like he just did is also a really incredible thing to see.
That was a good hill climb. That was a well-executed hill climb there.
That's great, yeah.
So yeah, at this point, yes, this is Mars' match to lose at this point. So I don't think it wouldn't quite be enough for Rev to catch up, but if Mars somehow lost the fire to Bowser, that does waste a fair amount of time, but I don't think it would be quite enough at this point yet to
I don't see
Rev
that
to be able to catch up
enough.
completely.
I was just thinking about that, just trying to do in my head like some quick math to figure out how much time he would have to lose, but I mean, at this point it would basically have to be I would say a death to Bowser for Rev to have a chance at this, unfortunately, with those 2 hands. If both players had gotten 0 hands or the same amount of hands, then I could see this being a much closer race, but
Mars making his way through Bowser's Castle here. Did he go for the clip? I was actually Rev at the moment. I don't know if he went for the clip or not.
I wasn't paying attention. I don't think he did. We'll see if he can keep P-speed through this final room before Bowser. Good duck jump there.
Looks like he does.
Yeah, good Bowser's Castle for Mars. Just got to finish it out with this fire kill.
Yep. 35 fireballs is what it takes to kill Bowser here, and looks like he got a pretty good setup for that, so he should have this, I believe. He's going to step back a little bit and play it safe, and looks like he's got it. So Mars is going to come out of this match with the victory. With a pretty good time. He's going to have a low 35. So that's a very, very good time for a tournament match.
Yeah, I was saying I was expecting like a mid 35 from both of them, and Mars delivering with a very low 35. That's only 14 seconds off of his PB. So
yeah, that was a good run from Mars. He should be really pleased with that run. Yeah, so definitely. Hopefully we will get him in here and see if he wants to do some commentary or some post-race interview here in a moment. They'll both get invites, and they're welcome to join in and talk about their run. Looks like Mars is in the setup room, so we should see him here in any moment. Rev, in the meantime's finishing or starting the castle here, so he's going to finish up here. And looks like they've got Mars in here with us. Congratulations on winning the race here. That was a pretty solid run from you.
Yeah, thank you. That could have been a PB, but I guess I had a really slow SMB3 with no hands. It was 11:44.
I mean, still great SMB3, a great run all around, and it's enough to get the win. So it's something you got to be happy with for sure.
Yeah, I'm really happy about this. I want to get sub 36 like most of the races I had, and I guess this is a good start. It was within like 10 seconds of a 34-minute time, so pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's the best time that we've had so far from my recollection in the tournament up to this point. So
until YMGC comes and gets a 34.
Or maybe a 33, who knows?
Yeah, I guess record.
So Rev has finished with a 36:48. GG's to him. And we'll see if he wants to. He should get an invite for the interviews as well. So we'll see if he likes to join us. So Mars, you're going to be moving on to play the winner of YMGC and Roy.
Oh no.
What are your thoughts about that matchup? And for whoever you match, is there anything you're gonna try to work on or focus on or anything like that?
Well, first I want to say good luck to Roy. YMDC is really good. Roy's just gonna need to hope that all the games are really nice and hopefully can pull out a pretty solid time. The weakest game for me right now is SME2U. I average around an 850, and most people or world record contenders like YMDC and Ethan can get like 30 or 810. So I want to get around like 830, 820 average for SME2U, and that can get me 34 a lot more often.
Just waiting to see if Rev's going to come in here. I don't see anything from him just yet. No interview. Okay, on the Discord, he's saying no interview for me, but thinks it was fun. Thank you, Rev, if you're listening out there. Thank you for the great race, and it was a pleasure to watch and commentate. Let's see. This is the upper bracket, so Revelyte's not done yet. So it looks like Revelyte will be going on to face the 10 seed Oilkin. So another match to watch out for there. Should be coming up in the next week or so, I would hope.
That should be that match should be next week.
Yeah.
Unless they elect to do it early. But that one should be scheduled for sometime next week. That one is the only one that we have set so far for the first round of the lower bracket. So this is the first game of round 2 for this week. We've got 3 more coming up. We've got, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, we've got YMGC versus Roy. We also have ZZZ versus GT Ace, which I don't think has been scheduled yet, but I would anticipate it'll be sometime this weekend. And then I'm facing LK Saturday night this weekend as well. So a lot of good matches coming up this week for this tournament.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, it's there were I guess 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 participants it looks like in this tournament. So definitely getting the best the community has to offer, I would say. So it's definitely been fun catching these races and seeing the results.
Yeah, we got a lot of the upper tier players for this tournament, which will definitely make for some good matchups. So yeah, it's oh yeah. So yeah, while it's not as big as the other ones I've been running, we've got a lot of quality. Not that I didn't for the others, but we have a lot of really good players for this one.
Definitely. Well, with that, does anybody else have any closing remarks?
GG, Rev, you did really good. It's a really good time. But nothing else to say.
All right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and close it out with that. But yeah, as Rupert was saying, congrats.
Yeah, congrats, and best of luck to you on your next matchup for both you and Rev.
Yes, thanks, guys.
All right, we will see you guys next time with the next race, which I believe is, I guess, do we want to fill in what the next race is going to be?
Let me look at the schedule here. So the next race on the schedule is YMGC versus Roy. That will be, it was the 15th, Saturday. That will be Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then later on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll be my race versus LK. Once ZZZ and GTAs get their race schedule, it'll be up on the schedule, but I don't know exactly when to expect that yet. So
at least 2 races coming up on Saturday.
Yep. So if y'all are interested in seeing some more of these tournament races, be sure to keep an eye on the schedule, and we'll have those posted up there for you.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and GG again to Mars, and we look forward to seeing more of the tournament.
Yep. Have a good day, everybody.